In the year 1900, what would you do if you awoke tomorrow in the United States? At 5 in the morning, you will hear nothing but the piercing sound of a factory whistle. There will be no running water, no phone next to your bed, and nothing else. You're just 12 years old. Your hands are raw from the labor you did yesterday, and you still have 14 hours of textile mill work to go. This is the truth about American life in the early 1900s. One last item before we begin, if you will. Give them a thumbs up, or subscribe if you give them a regular listen. Just tell me where you are and what time it is. I'm always curious. Strange that some of you are presumably having breakfast in London as I record this in the middle of the night in the United States. Good, so let's return to the year 1900. It will be an incredible journey, I promise. Ensure. You are comfy first. Please, change the pillows. Raise the coverlet. You will prefer a cozy environment where we are headed. When it's dark, your eyes open suddenly, for reasons unrelated to your desire. Reason being, banshee-like industrial whistle has just torn across Manhattan's Lower East Side. Time is 5. Right on time, each and every morning. The chill is the first sensation you feel. First month of the year. New York, the year 1900. Missing heating system. Inadequate insulation. A mattress filled with corn husks. A paper-thin blanket, and your 2 younger siblings. Sure, maize husks. As soon as you shift, they begin to crackle. A few months. Later, they're practically nothing more than dust. Still, it's an improvement over the floor. If your age is 12, the people at the factory refer to you as Joey, even though your real name is Giuseppe. Your ancestors emigrated here from Italy 3 years ago. The American ideal, isn't it? Your younger brother is pressing up against your back and drawing heat from you. The boy is 9 years old. Goodness gracious, I was too young to work at the factory. At your feet, curled up like a cat, is your 7-year-old sister, Anna. You all sleep on the same mattress. It's the ones across the room are where your parents are slumbering. Room how kind. Of you, it has more of a box shape. Up to 12 feet by 10, there is a single window that is 6 inches from a brick wall. Here you can find the entire family. Comes here to eat, a presence here. Then the aroma reaches your nose. I mean, it's not easy. The mold on the walls will never fully dry, and nobody will ever empty the chamber pot in the corner until someone descends the 4 flights of steps to the courtyard privy. Forget about taking a bath. It involves lugging water up those same 4 flights, boiling it on the stove with coal, and even then all you're doing is shifting dirt. Then there's the scent of unwashed bodies. However, the overwhelming scent of a crowded place is usually to blame. The 6 children of the Kowalski's family are upstairs. Adjacent to us, the O'Briens, all 5 of them. Right down the hall, the Goldsteins. All 8 of them. Roughly 40 households call this 5-story Orchard Street walk-up home. 200 individuals. 4 restrooms. Sitting up quietly, you. Make sure not to wake up Marco and Anna. The maize cobs cry out. Your mom has already gotten up. She is audible even in the dark. The mark left by a match, just as she is about to light the kerosene lamp, a little flame briefly reveals her face. At 32 years old, she appears much older. This life in this environment will age you quickly. Giuseppe, she murmurs in an Italian accent, it is time to rise. The moment your feet touch the floor, a wave of regret washes over you. There is a chill on the wooden boards. Within the window, frost has formed. Indeed, within. The light from the lamp makes your breath visible. Unlike the cozy bed you're currently enjoying, complete with fluffy sheets and a temperature control system that lets you choose your ideal setting. You change into your job attire, exactly the same ones from the previous 3 days. If there is time, soap, and energy remaining after 6 days of work, they will be washed on Sunday. Patches have replaced the shirt's original fabric. The creation of your mother. Sewing and resewing using discarded materials. Dolls. I need a longer pair of pants. I thought you were getting new clothes. You've grown an inch this year. That is not going to happen. Not when the average weekly income for the household is only $12. Given that everyone is engaged, unless everyone is feeling well, unless the manufacturing facility reduces the number of hours worked. You are the deity of your own boots. They were once owned by your father. You have put newspaper inside to conceal the holes, but the sole is still separating from the leather. You can still see your toes through. In around 1 hour, as you trudge through the streets covered in slush, in horse manure, your feet will get drenched and remain so for the following 14 hours. You are given breakfast by your mother. A rock-solid loaf of bread and a tin cup of what may be charitably described as coffee. What counts is that it's warm, even though it largely consists of chicory and hot water. Soaking the bread makes it softer. Your lower jaw aches. Nobody like. You get to see a dentist. You have to learn to live with terrible teeth till they fall out. Finding someone with pliers is the next step. Even though you already know the answer, you nevertheless ask if Papa has left. According to your mom, Anne. An hour ago. Unloading ships is your dad's job at the docks. In order to get to work early, he gets up at 4 in the morning. Every day is different for him in terms of being chosen or not. Every time he fails to do so, he returns home bereft of anything worthwhile. You drink the coffee water quickly and plant a kiss on your mom's cheek. The aroma of kerosene and weariness wafts off of her. She warns you to exercise caution, as she does each morning, in a textile factory where machines could sever your arm. If you let your mind wander for even a second, being cautious is the only control you have. As you approach the door, Anna's voice interrupts you. Hello, Joey. Looking up at you from her bed. She's awake. Take sweets with you. Making an effort, you crack a smile. Indeed, Piccola. I would like some snacks. Lies are cheap, and sometimes that's all you can offer, even though sweets hasn't been available for months. Compared to your apartment, the corridor is much darker. These walls don't have any windows. By relying on your memory, you navigate to the stairs. You run your palm across the walls, Oil. Somewhere the Goldstein infant is wailing. This moist tubercular cough has been getting worse for the father of the O'Brien family for weeks. Very soon, he will not cough at all. On the 4th floor, every stair makes a sound. Some have spoiled beyond repair. This staircase was the scene of last month's ankle fracture for Mrs. Kowalski. The inability to work persists, and her eldest son, Stefan, is 14 years old. To make ends meet, he's been working extra shifts. The icy air rushes over you as you step out onto Orchard Street through the tenement's front door. Perhaps 15 degrees. At least you're outside, far from the stifling confines of the building. Even though your papery jacket doesn't provide much protection, there is life on the street. Here we are in the world's most densely populated area, the Lower East Side. Yeah, the entire planet. There are more people per square acre here than in Bombay or London. Over the cobblestones, horse-drawn carts, clots, all sorts of perishable goods, from seemingly fresh meat to spoiled veggies, are being sold by vendors who have set up their pushcarts. The aroma of equine dung permeates every corner. In some parts, it's frozen, and in others, it's hot and fresh. A lifeless feline has stepped around. It could be a rat, though, imprecise in the twilight hours before morning. Streets like these go unclean by the city. Not on this level. This isn't the right fit for you. As I look around, I see other children coming out of the tenements and going in the same direction. Faces are familiar to you, but names elude you. You are like a mascot to Polish, Jewish, Irish, and Italian children. Your mass movement into the industrial areas is reminiscent of a tidal wave. From across the street, you join Tommy Flanagan in step. At 13 years old, he has already worked for 3 years in the mills. Last summer, he lost 2 fingers on his left hand after getting it caught in a loom. His employer granted him 2 days of unpaid leave, according to Tommy, whose breath creates clouds in the air. The temperature is low enough to freeze a brass monkey's balls. In any case, you argue, we're not in the coal mines. That's right, the anthracite mines in Pennsylvania are being worked by your cousin Salvatore. At 11 years old, he works 12 hours a day, picking slate from coal in complete darkness. Whenever he is able to procure a letter writer, his descriptions of hellish situations are unparalleled. Seeing the sun is a blessing. At times, you may come across a newsboy who is as young as 8 years old and already selling newspapers. Europe gripped by Spanish flu, pandemic 2 pennies. Roosevelt wants reform. Get your paperwork in order. Flu pandemic. That should be sufficient, as if diseases like diphtheria, cholera, and tuberculosis weren't bad enough. In the tenements, disease spreads rapidly. 3 children from your building died in a single week last summer from scarlet fever. Just ahead is the factory. A brick monstrosity rising 5 stories, spewing ominous smoke into the early morning sky. The Anderson Mill for textiles. Staying at home for the following 14 hours. There are 52 weeks in a year that have 6 days. Staying put. Without the ability to take sick days, you just quit. You cut out all food. A swarm of additional children is forming at the doorway. Even though it is now legally against the law, some do it at the age of 7 or 8. The official position: there is no checking of birth certificates by the foreman. To ensure you can tie the threads, they measure the size of your fingers, assuming you can squeeze under the machinery. If you're willing to tolerate a weekly wage of $3 and are in dire need of cash right now, making $4 salary for a 12-year-old veteran, Mom says you should be proud of yourself for helping out. Supporting the family's survival is your responsibility. But why should one go on? Just to get out of bed the next day and try again? So you can see your younger sister's expression change drastically when she starts a job next year? The goal is to emulate your father's character, tired from working so hard just to stay alive. You appear 60 years old, although being 40 years old. A piercing screech echoes from the factory. 13 minutes later. Got to punch in now. Your bed is on your mind at the moment. That bed of yours. Right when it's convenient for you. Warm, soft, no risk. A phone next to it has an alarm that you may set to snooze. A task that is unlikely to be fatal. Legislation that establishes a 40-hour work week is the maximum allowable without incurring extra pay. It was our victory. In due time, little ones adore Joey. The way Tommy's missing fingers make him unique. Exactly like the swarm of tiny beings making their way inside the cold morning factory. Some of them perished in the midst of their ordeal. What changed, though, was their impact. Labor legislation pertaining to children. Standards for safety. I work an 8-hour day. However, that is for the distant future. Currently, you are 12 years old, and it is January 1900. Get ready to be sucked in whole by the industrial door. The manufacturing lobby is just a tad cozier than the weather outside, only slightly. Even though the wind is still visible through your jacket, at least it's not cutting you to the bone. Like a judge, the clock leans against the wall. You join the other children in line, and you wait for your turn. There are already older employees within. First punch is given to them, people of legal age, young adults. Senior staff members are defined as those aged 14 and up, as they shuffle past. You observe them. These folks are likely in their 30s, yet they look centuries older. You age in the mill. As you inhale cotton dust, you deduct years from your life expectancy, spending each hour bent over machines. Day after day in the dark, carry it past. The rodents. Hello, I am Mr. Kowalski, those in charge of the floor. This has nothing to do with your upstairs neighbors. Another Polish name among many in this city. His stature is quite enormous, standing at 6 feet with a brick wall construction. He was the type of guy who managed to land his job by just being meaner than his coworkers. His stick is his favorite. To motivate himself to work quicker, he utilizes a 3-foot-long chunk of oak. Your card is punched. 5:30 in the morning. Absolutely tardy. There goes 1 penny from your paycheck, regardless of how long you've been waiting in line. There's only one time clock, yet that doesn't affect the 200 employees. Always be on time, as if you were walking into a wall. The main floor of the mill greets you. It is incredibly loud. Numerous power looms are operational simultaneously. A cacophony of clanging, pounding, and piercing noises. At the age of 40, you will experience hearing loss. I mean, seriously, everyone is. In Italy, your grandpa worked as a farmer, continued to hear well into his 70s. In this place, new perspective. The air is already heavy with cotton dust, similar to fog, but it stays in your lungs the whole time. Mill workers refer to it as cough. You can't escape it. Your home is haunted by that constant deafening sound of dry hacking. It gets worse every year until it finally stops. The machine's heat is beginning to accumulate. It will be unbearably hot inside in just 1 hour. The heat causes children to faint in the summer. On a winter day, you'll go from chilly to hot to cold again. As soon as you step out the door, nothing ever changes in your physique. It merely persists. You alight at your designated station. Moving up from the position of sweeper, you are now a doffer. The smallest children are designated as sweepers. It is their job to crawl under the operating machines and remove the cotton fibers. A person's hair, hand or worse, gets entangled in something every single week. Your duty as a doffer is to empty the spinning frames of their full bobbins and replace them with empty ones. It looks easy. Actually, it's not. The machines run continuously. The equipment is turning at hundreds of rotations per minute, so you have to quickly grab the full bobbin and swap it for an empty one. Thinking about Tommy's lost fingers is all it takes. Just one misstep or moment of distraction. Do you happen to be awake, Joey? Across from your frame is Marie, an Irish girl who works there. It's been 2 years and she's 11 years old. Since witnessing Lucy Brennan's scalpel when her braids became entangled in a gear, she has been sporting a head full of red hair, which she tightly pulls back. Yeah, I'm awake, you reply, assuming your spot. All those frames, standing tall as symbols of advancement, line up in long rows. The proprietors refer to it by that name. Progress. 100 human. Spinners can't compare to these machines. They simply require the care of youngsters, tiny fingers for fine tasks, miniature humans who aren't qualified to earn adult salaries. You begin your regular schedule. Behold as the thread bobbins fill up. Patiently await that precise moment. Break in quickly. Turn around. Run away. Go over it again throughout the course of 14 hours. In spite of the chilly morning, you're perspiring within minutes. Every day brings new tasks. Do not pause. Do not sit down. Mr. Kowalski will use his stick to crack you if he finds you idling. On the other hand, you could be let go and replaced by a group of eager youths. Feathering cotton strands drift through the sky like flakes of snow. Stunning, if only it weren't so painful. Putting your handkerchief over your mouth and nose doesn't do much to alleviate the problem. Your nose will be completely black by the time you blow it at the end of the day. The mill is a musical composition of suffering all around you, choking children, screaming machines, managers yelling, and beneath it all, the loom's incessant clacking. Like a gigantic clock ticking away the hours of your youth, weird compared to your job. You most likely have breaks in your job, employment regulations. Someone is watching out. For your safety, while you're on the job, I don't consider you a human here. You're just another cog in the wheel, component that can be swapped out. Cautionary note. Little Michael O'Malley is seen by you as he struggles with a full bobbin. When you look over, 8 years old is his age. No need to be here at all. However, his mother is in dire need of the funds due to his father's death in a construction accident last month. Almost as large as he is, the bobbin is. Even if you'd like to leave your post and lend him a hand, you're stuck. Here we go again with another penny. We are one step closer to a world where your family goes hungry. You see him struggle with it, his little arms trembling. This vividly portrays the innocence and wonder of youth in the year 1900, disregarding academics, doing nothing, having an unsafe and unloved childhood. Sure thing, however, did you hear? Joey, Marie, Tiny Michael are just a few examples of the difficult kids who people underestimate. Most individuals would crack under the strain of what they're going through, and a small number of them will mature into influential adults. 10 years from now, some of these orphans from the mill will be leading union campaigns. They plan to pass legislation to outlaw child labor in 30 years. After 40 years, they will have ensured that their own children would never set foot in a factory. However, that is the future. At this very moment, it is 6 in the morning at a New York City textile mill. You are 12 years old. and you still have 15.5 hours to go. 6:30 p.m., there is life in the mill. All of the machines on the go, each employee at their workstation, can hardly make out the far wall through the cotton dust. You feel an itch in your throat, that old ache, in the space between bobbin changes. Marie stooped down. Do you know about the girl from Murkowski? You continue to use your hands for work as you shake your head in disagreement. Never stops working. Stranded her hair the day before. The second shift begins. Marie speaks with a monotone. Actually, yes. Someone yanked half her head off before the emergency brake was pressed. Yes, the emergency stop. It need for men and a crowbar to actually engage. The one that, for every minute it's offline, loses $5 worth of production for the business. The one that is utilized exclusively in cases where an individual is in imminent danger, and occasionally not even in such cases. Is she still alive? Why, you inquire. Yes, but she is not returning. In 1900, there was no workers' compensation. This hurts you. It's finished. I hope someone else can work. Your family is counting on it. Otherwise, it's the poorhouse. It could be even worse. The time is 7 o'clock. The cotton fibers have already made your fingers rough. They enter every single cut and scrape like little needles threading under your fingernails. Your hands will be covered in blood by the time the day is over. You can count on it. Michael O'Malley, the young one, is having trouble once more. Even by the standards of child labor, the child is too little for this task. He stands shakily on tiptoes as he tries to reach a high bobbin. Then it takes place. He gets his sleeve caught. Hey there, Michael. However, the din of the machinery muffles your cries. He feels himself being drawn in by the rotating frame. His brow furrows. Anxiety of the highest order. You dive for him without giving it any thought, leaving your station behind, snatching his other arm. You exert all your pulling power. Its machine is more powerful. But you're backed by desperation. It rips at the sleeve. Michael trips and falls. Sees you in the end. You both land on the floor with a thud. You can hear him sobbing, but he's got every part he needs. What matters is that, what on earth is going on? With his stick held aloft, Mr. Kowalski looms large above the two of you. It hooked his sleeve, sir. It was merely a pause in my. Your shoulder is hit with the stick. Your arm erupts in agony. Your position was abandoned. That amounts to 2. Sense.onu. In Michael's direction, he aims the stick. Put an end to your tears or else. Michael suppresses his tears. His age is 8 years. This is the appearance of advancement in the year. 1900. The United States is becoming an industrial superpower because of this. The tears of little children. A 12-year-old's blood sample. Everyone too impoverished to be anyplace else. There. Bodies shattered. 13 minutes thereafter. A dull ache in your shoulders. But you maintain your effort. Reducing your pace is not an option. If you get harmed, the bobbins won't care. Today a new girl will begin, not to exceed 7. The sweepers are with her. Scrambling beneath the machinery while holding a pan and brush. Over in row 3, her mother is hard at work, attempting to meet her own goals while keeping a watchful eye on her daughter. Introducing Sophia, the young girl. Greek family soon. After disembarking, she has no pressing need to learn English just yet. There is a universal language spoken by the machines. Work or go hungry. Her scurrying beneath a spinning loom catches your eye. Just inches away from devices that may crack her head open like an egg. The task at hand causes her mother's hands to tremble. Everyone knows that the first day is the most awful. Once that happens, you simply become desensitized. The time is 8 minutes past the moment. I am 2.5 hours into it. Only 15 minutes left. Your back hurts like hell. Standing for 14 hours straight is bad for the human body, carrying out the identical repeated actions. There are 12 of you. Your spine is not fully matured yet. It's like half of the adult employees here. You'll be permanently hunched in 10 years. In any case, you're definitely not sitting at your desk job doing this, expressing dissatisfaction. With your ergonomic chair, hello Joey, a hiss is emitted by Marie. There will be a Kowalski. Your movements are accelerated. Present yourself as occupied. You should always appear to be quite occupied. Discover something to do, even when nothing. It seems to be happening here. Idling hands don't merely accomplish devil's work. It leads to your dismissal from your job. As he creeps by, Kowalski taps his stick against his palm. Upon reaching Sophia's mother, he pauses to observe her for a little minute before continuing on. After a while, she lets out a cry. Everyone does. 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Somebody has to vomit. Bad news. It's audible over the machines. Heat fatigue, despite the fact that it is January. Like ovens, the mills grind grain. With all that gearbox action, it's heating up. It has nowhere to go. A Polish boy, around 11 years old. Down, he is heaving. Everyone becomes sick from the cotton dust at some point. Some people get sick faster than others. Kowalski yells at him to get out of there and docks his pay for the cleanup. The child is pulled toward the door by two older staff. He is out for good. No room for weakness here. There are 100 children outdoors who aren't going to vomit on the dot. I hear a yell as it is break time. Take a break. That's hilarious. If you brought food or water, you have 15 minutes to eat, drink, and use the restroom. Employees and 4 restrooms in 15 minutes. The haste to find a restroom is ridiculous. Young people are vying for a spot in line. You are now able to keep it steady. Instead of squandering that 15 minutes in line, you might as well wait for the midday break. In its place, you make your way to the water barrel. You're covered in cotton dust and in need of something warm and metallic tasting. Even though it's lukewarm, knowing you'll have to pay the price when you're unable to leave your station to pee, you down it all at once. As you sit here, Marie is unwrapping a little present. A half potato and a crumb-filled slice of bread. Would you like any? The woman extends an offer. Refusing to budge, you proceed to shake your head. We're actually quite full, but not ravenous. Not yet. Ignoring the warning, she eats it nevertheless. When money is tight, you cut down on food waste, even food with mold. The garbage you've consumed over the years has already ruined your digestive system. A bit more harm, what's that? She mentions that, in between bites, you might have heard that Roosevelt is considering a presidential run. I see. He claims he will dissolve the trusts, facilitate improvements for employees. It would irritate your throat if you laughed. Long before you came into this world, politicians have been making good on their promises to improve things. While men in mansions in New York light cigars with dollar bills, you are a 12-year-old working for pennies in a textile mill. Perhaps you reason, since what else is there to say? Sometimes all we have is hope. 9:15 minutes. Work resumes. After the break, the frames sound more intense. Perhaps it's simply that after 15 minutes of silence, you become accustomed to it. I can hear your ears ringing. These days, it's always the case. While you sleep on your corn husk mattress, you may occasionally wake up only to the sound of your phone ringing. Fresh issue. The jamming of one of your bobbins has been identified. Break after break, the thread manufacturing will halt unless you resolve the issue. Kowalski takes charge if production decelerates. If Kowalski were to drop by, even though you're trying to retie the thread, your hands are trembling. Your hands become shaky due to exhaustion, hunger, and dread. The Kowalski lad from your building, Stefan, is here. That other one, not the boss. At 14 years old, he has been employed here since he was 8 years old. In the blink of an eye, he fixes the thread with lightning speed. Murmur. Returning to his post, he gives a silent nod. Little acts of kindness. This is how you make it through. Protecting one another when management isn't looking may be challenging. 9:45 a.m. On the other side of the room, something is going on. Commotion. Crying out after then, the much-feared noise, a brief scream. The machinery keeps running. They do not cease. But now everybody is looking, trying to figure out what went down. In a mill, word spreads rapidly, whispered from station to station like a telegraph, the son of Brennan. The gears ensnared the hand, the son of Brennan. Hey there, Timothy. The age of 10. He was 10. Something is visible when they carry it out. Something draped in a sheet of gore. Nothing substantial enough to be considered a person. People return to their jobs. How about something else? Cease to grieve? There goes 1 penny from your paycheck. Feel furious? There goes your job. thus you toil. Ruth, Timothy Brennan's 10-year-old sister, will likely have to fill in for him next week due to the family's financial problems, and you try not to dwell on that thought. America in the year 1900, where dreams can come true. A door of golden hue. This is the land where golden pavement lies. Yes, the blood of 10-year-olds was mingled with gold. The top of the hour. It beat the clock by 45 minutes, just as planned. Your hands are bleeding. You have calluses that the cotton fibers have managed to penetrate. Scrubbing your clothes clean, you press on. A fresh Greek girl named Sophia is sobbing beneath the machines. The power of silence for outcry only leads to dismissal. Has black hands from handling cotton dust and machine oil. Why? She is unable. To return home is a mystery to her. This is the point that this is indeed his house. Every day for 14 hours, aside from working and hoping her daughter lives long enough to adjust, her mother is unable to visit her, console her, or do anything else. The first day sticks out in your mind. Also, you wept. Absolutely everyone does? Then you realize that your tears won't make a difference. The machines out to murder you are still visible, but they are more difficult to spot with their help. The next time Sophia crawls by, you should yell out to her, "Little brother," so Kowalski won't hear. You pretend it's soft. She raises her large brown eyes to meet yours, despite your linguistic barrier. You manage to crack open the hard candy bar that you've been stashed away for the past 3 weeks. The one that was meant to be given to Anna. You just throw it to her. Confused, she catches it. As you put it in your mouth, you do a mime. It is clear to her. Places it in. She stares wide-eyed. Cane sugar. She hasn't had anything sweet in months. Probably, I don't care. Some sweets. But for an instant, she comes close to smiling. Marie is aware of your actions. It was intended for your sister. Yeah. Oh, Joey, you complete moron. Yeah, yet we are both aware that I acted morally. We are effectively machines if we do not assist one another and cling to what little humanity we possess in this abyss. 10:30, the morning shift supervisor arrives. Hi there, Mr. Harrison. Because of his intelligence, he is even worse than Kowalski. You can't compete with Kowalski. In Harrison's games, you'll find methods to defeat yourself. At every station, he checks the output. That is a penalty. If you fall short of your quota, you will have your quota increased if you are too far ahead. Not possible. That is the main idea. He approaches my workstation and examines my statistics. In comparison to yesterday, Giuseppe, you're down. He is using my given name. He is aware that I despise it. Recognizes that it sets me apart from another. Country something else. Dear sir, madam, I had to unjam the bobbin. Excuses aren't what make cloth dude in his ledger. He makes a note of something. Here we go again with another penny. Perhaps there are 2. I will be indebted to the business by the weekend if I continue at this pace. That is serious business. Workers can wind up in debt to the mill after a few weeks of fines and deductions. Store prices and housing costs for the company. Taken together, it becomes a lot. More so than slavery ever did, they own you. Slaves at least had some idea of what they were. Machines continue to rumble. I am perpetually ravenous, consuming childhood and cotton at the same rate. When you turn around, you see a bunch of kids, children from Poland, young Irish people, youths from Italy, young Jews, young Greeks. We are all unique. We are all the same. Every one of us is supplying the machines with food, little by little, yes, in your actual bed. As it happens right now for you, your alarm clock is likely causing you concern regarding a job where being tardy by 5 minutes won't be fatal. Regarding the matter of whether to consume tea or coffee, those alternatives aren't available to these kids. They stand up. Yes, they are effective. They pull through. Either that or they neglect to do so. I'm done. That concludes our menu. Let me tell you something about these kids, though. The Industrial Revolution's little fighters. They will triumph. Today is not the day. Tomorrow is not going to work. Quite a while. However, in the end, union organizers will be among their future careers. There will be those who go on to become educators and instill a culture of violence. In their students, Some of them will go on to write about these experiences. Some, like this morning's hand casualty, Timothy Brennan, will become the numbers that push the world to action. Actions in the factory. Legislation pertaining to fair labor standards. Everything that OSHA stands for was bought with blood, childhood, and 14-hour days. However, that is the future. The current time is 10:45 a.m. on January 10th, 1900. Your age is 12. Plus, you have cuts on your hands. Plus, you still have 9 hours to spare. 11 o'clock. The sun is now high enough in the sky that some light penetrates the dirty windows. Light shafts laden with cotton dust, kin to perpetual snow. It would be lovely if it weren't killing your lungs with each breath. Now the temperature is rising rapidly. January outdoors. However, the temperature inside must be well into the 80s. These machines spin like furnaces, producing heat. We need 200 bodies operating continuously. There's your personal little pit of misery. A cart full of empty bobbins is pushed by Stefan as he goes by. He is hobbling. So what transpired? Nosing about at him. He disapproves by shaking his head. Quit. Asking. The blood, however, is seen oozing out of his boot. He's most likely had an object fall on his foot. Probably shattered at least one toe. It seems like I'll figure it out in the end. Since he is left with no other option. Nobody ever brings this up. Not. Limited to major incidents alone? It's the ones where children lose their digits or worse? Constant little injuries are the problem. Wounds that keep getting reopened day after day, never healing. Those bruises that change color from green to yellow, to black. Breaks and sprains that you manage to overcome, because if you skip a day, your family won't have food. You are a walking, talking map of industrial America, even at the tender age of 12. The cotton fibers will leave marks on your skin. The steam pipe was too near, and you got a burn on your forearm. Your left pinky has that peculiar curve, too. It from the time you ripped it free from a bobbin, since pausing to do it properly would have resulted in your termination. Marie is secretly singing a song. Over all the machinery, I hardly hear it, but you can see it. She learned an Irish ballad from her grandma. When she wants to distract herself from thinking about anything, she does this. In the same way as her older brother Patrick was just enlisted to serve in the Philippine military, but something similar. To how her mother denies that she is coughing up blood. Just shut up, Mick. Performing behind us is Anthony Torino, who is operating the frame. He has all of his fingers and has been here for 4 years, so he feels he's tough, even though he's just 15 years old. In Kowalski's absence, Marie slaps him across the face. Come on, Dago. Just shut up. Their animosity toward one another is strong. This hatred, though, is nothing more than fear masquerading as animosity. Everyone is terrified. As for the mechanical devices, the superiors, I was afraid I might wind up this morning looking just like Timothy Brennan. As a result, we confide in one another, Celtic against Milan, Polish, and Jewish peoples. As if causing conflict amongst ourselves will give us a sense of power, not at all. This is the moment when your bladder starts to scream, which is a poor decision, to down that water during break. But money will be lost if you leave your station. So far you've only lost about 4 cents. How about 5? Forgot how many there are. Thus you do indeed possess it, and your home's restroom comes to mind. In your actual residence, as it happens right now for you, there are likely 2 restrooms, perhaps all 3. Make it spotless, private, a door with a lock. Napkins made from materials other than old newspapers. 4 restrooms for 200 employees here. Complete absence of doors. Complete lack of anonymity. The aroma, too. The odor is so bad it might put a horse to sleep. Hello? Joey Sophia, the young Greek girl, is this person. She knows my name by now. She stands there, her dustpan brimming with a crimson substance, blood incorporated with cotton fibers. Much of it, her expression is one of assumed competence. As she looks at me, like I'm the one in charge here. However, I am 12 years old. Like you, I'm a child. It's only a game. I tell her to pour it out the back while imitating the motion. She quickly runs off with the other trash after giving a nod. Still another mishap on the road. One more child injured. Still another family wiped off. It's just Tuesday at 11:30 at the mill. 3 rows over, a woman begins to scream. Not wailing in agony, anger wailing. I mean the kind that doesn't originate in your voice box, but rather underneath the surface. This is the mother of Sophia. No word yet from Sophia, is the woman. Tries to exit her station. Harrison stands in her way. His tone is as level as a conversation about the weather. And he tells her she's fired if she doesn't stay. With tears falling from her eyes, she is yelling in Greek. However, she returns to her device, because her options are limited. Is occupied by other children. They must consume food. Everyone is keeping busy. The machines are indifferent to the disappearance of children aged 7. Quotas are indifferent. The United States industrial power is indifferent. Sophia returns 10 minutes after that. Finding the garbage location proved to be a challenge for her. I was just defeated. But for a little moment, her mother believes she had passed away. Not even her daughter catches the mother's gaze. To do so, because if she takes a break from her job to cuddle her kid, they will both go hungry. American families in the industrial era look like this. Even though they may be in the same building or even the same room, parents and children often act as if they are on separate worlds. Machines are prioritized, every time. Noon, a lunchtime whistle sounds. Break for lunch. How kind of you. Now you have 20 minutes. 20 minutes to hunt for food, struggle for the restrooms, and maybe stretch for a while. And now you get to go potty. A pleasant alleviation. The restroom is filthy, but I don't think you care anymore. Things can go. Worse than shit and piss, as when the ache in your hands turns into numbness. Wow, that's terrible. Damage to the nerves causes numbness, represents a loss of sensation. This means that the next time you get too near to the gears, you might not realize it. For the first time since sunrise, outside the mill, there is no cotton dust in the icy air, but it slaps you like a slap. Actually, you're able to breathe. Sitting on the freezing ground, groups of children eat whatever they brought. Some people just sit around and watch people eat while they have nothing. They don't beg because they are proud. Their hunger, though, is plain to perceive. Half a piece of bread was given to you by your mother. Going to be gone by the end of the day, but your stomach is acting up. Take a little bite and chew it carefully. Keep it going. Next to you, Tommy Flanagan hops down. A filthy rag covers his injured hand. Tells me he heard about Brennan's son. Yeah, the hand was rapidly entangled in the gears. Removed it completely from the elbow. My goodness. His aging grandfather dropped by, angrily began to yell at Harrison. They had to yank him out of there. Will he file a lawsuit? Tommy chuckles, though it's far from humorous. Who would you like to sue? He ought not to have been involved with the money apart from the children. That is their intended response. Lack of attention by employees. Lack of attention by employees. Because he wasn't cautious enough around machinery that may kill an adult. A 10-year-old youngster breaks his arm. Do you know about the talk of the strike? Tommy whispers softly. Talk about strikes. Several grown-ups. Discussing the idea of leaving, calling for reduced workweek duration, tools for protection. They are in a dream, very possibly. But Pullman, that Chicago spot, it was genuinely done by workers there. Turn off all machinery. And the army advanced. Shattered it. Lots of individuals perished. This is a given. That's the way it usually turns out. When employees demand human treatment, the government responds by sending in the army to make them remember they aren't. The concept, nevertheless, remains. Regarding everyone merely pausing, without further ado, of turning off the machinery. That's a risky way of thinking, such as the kind that causes individuals to be blacklisted. It could be even worse. 12.15. Come back inside. No matter what, the afternoon shift is the worst. You've had enough. I am ravenous. The temperature is steadily rising. It will be more than 90 degrees inside by 2 o'clock. Some children may faint. During the summer, it occurs daily. With sufficiently heated machinery, This is possible even in the dead of winter. You settle into your seat. I can already see Marie there, putting in time. However, this isn't like before. She seemed to be trembling. Are you okay? No response is her response. After a while, you notice it. Sweat stains her skirt with blood. Much of it. Marie, you in pain? In disapproval, she shakes her head, disregards my presence. It all becomes clear after that. The age of her is 13. A woman she will be. It'd make matters worse, she is unable to leave her post to attend to the issue. For girls working in the mills, this is life. Complete lack of anonymity. Dishonor absent. No respect for the fact that your body is more than just a tool to turn the cranks. You truly desire to lend a hand? However, what are your options? There's a 12-year-old boy in you. You have no idea what she's going through. Nothing would change even if you tried. You just keep going even when you're bleeding through your clothing. That's her attitude. All of us do that. 12:30. A fresh dilemma has emerged. The upstairs main drive belt breaks. Every room in the structure trembles as it occurs. This is a thunderous sound. A few of the machines pause for an instant. Wall of sound has fallen. It wasn't until it was muted that you realized how loud it was. The silence reverberates in your ears. Next, the voice of Kowalski. Work resumes. It will be fixed by mechanics. However, in that little pause, you recalled the sound of a world devoid of technology. Pelicans, perhaps. The wind. People speaking at a comfortable volume. It was nearly forgotten by you. Upstairs, the mechanics scramble. Those with the necessary skills are the ones who can earn a living wage. The machines are familiar to them. What to do to correct them, what to do to maintain their functionality. They serve as akin to industry's clergy. Everyone else is merely a sacrifice. Time is won. You made it 7.5 hours into this place. Half a dozen more to go. Your feet have gone through that strange stage of agony where they are both numb and burning all at once. You try transferring your weight from one foot to the other, but it has no effect. Getting off of them is the only thing that helps. Plus, another 6 hours will pass before that occurs. This afternoon, a new student will begin. In the afternoons, when they are in dire need of staff, they always start the kids. There may be 9 of them. No fat here. He appears to be Polish. Along with him, his mother is chatting quickly to Kowalski in a jumbled kind of English. He's totally awesome, strong. Work is his life. Kowalski is completely oblivious. The child's hands are his focus. Small moves quickly. It's just what the machines need. The weekly cost is $3. Ignore it if you so desire. In a panic, Mom gives the signal. Yes, just so she could feed the machines her son. To have the chance to witness his 5th birthday in just 5 months, in the hopes of preventing the possible famine that may befall her family. Stanislaw is the child's name. Stan. He is supposed to be one of the sweepers. In just 1 hour, he will be crammed beneath the machines, dodging cotton dust and oil as he desperately tries not to perish or have his hair entangled. Stan, you're quite welcome to the United States of America, the nation that grants freedom, the stronghold of valor. In this factory, 9-year-olds toil away for 14-hour days so that Boston's wealthy ladies can afford their dress fabrics. You attempt to recollect the sensation of being a stranger here as you observe him vanishing under a loom. It would be nice to hold out hope that things will improve. One may rise through the ranks provided they put in the necessary effort. Consider a career in mechanics, possibly even a manager. On the other hand, the adult workers are noticeable people who have been here for 20 years, bowing legs, damaged airways, hands without digits, still just ahead of you in terms of income. It only takes one mishap to spell doom. Ascending the ladder is not an option. It's working till you're absolutely exhausted. 15-something is going on at the pier for incoming cargo. Commotion, crying out. Unlike the typical variety, the word gets around quite quickly. Here we have Roosevelt. Franklin D. Roosevelt, New York's governor. At the mill, precisely. People are attempting to blend in as best they can. Looks like even Kowalski is on edge. Harrison is trembling uncontrollably. He then enters. President Roosevelt. Despite being shorter than anticipated, the room is filled with this electrifying energy. A large group is accompanying him. Clutching men, dados and notepads, individual equipped with a modern photographic device. Tim Brennan is mentioned to them, the guy who went armless. Somehow, word made its way to the office of the governor. Roosevelt approaches one of the devices directly, checks it out, sees the children using it. He has a stoned face. "My son, what is your age?" "Anne," he asks. "No, 13, please. Also, what is your typical workday duration?" "It will be 14 hours, sir." He jots down some thoughts in a notepad. Then, on to the next child. The following one as well. Tosing inquiries. Noting things down, flashes from the photographer's camera won't stop. He finds you. "May I ask for your name?" "Hello, Joey, you Giuseppe. Do you speak Italian?" "Of course I can. At what age?" "No, 12, please." His gaze falls onto your palms. "In the face of gore and wounds. Based on my job?" "Of course I can." His mouth clenches, more notes are penned by him. Harrison is making an effort to step in, discussing important topics such as the American economy, necessity, and advancement. Roosevelt refuses to stop moving, persists in inquiring, retains penmanship. He pauses to help the new boy Stan, who is crawling out from behind a machine. "I don't think this youngster is older than 9, Harrison remarks in a flash that he is. Diminutive for his age. "I didn't mean to speak to you." There is an abrupt hush. Everything seems to be quieter, even the machines. Roosevelt drops to one knee, Stan at eye level. "What is your actual age?" Stan is scared as he stares at his mom. With a nod, she agrees. "Okay, number 9, sir." "The president takes a stand," observes Harrison. "With that I will conclude. You must comprehend, sir. Everyone needs a job sometimes. Little ones. I am told these are kids. Every family is reliant. Next, provide the grown-ups a good salary so they can keep their children out of the workforce." He is now furious. I am furious. His self-confidence is evident, managed but only just. "Change is on the way," he announces to the room. "To everyone. Here, I assure you of that." He then disappears. In a flash, an ebb and flow of wind, no one does anything for a minute after he departs. The workbench then becomes the target of Kowalski's stick. Work resumes. It performs above targets. Refrain from being filled up, which is exactly what we do. We resume our duties, since Roosevelt has departed, yet we remain in this place. The situation is still dire, appetite unquenched. Require these occupations even now. However, this isn't. Like before, feel it similar to the atmosphere just before a storm. "Change is on the way," he declared. Very possibly. Perhaps not. In any case, you still have 5.5 hours remaining on your shift. It seems as though Roosevelt was never here. He's only been gone for 15 minutes. Governors are irrelevant to the machines. Cotton is unconcerned about assurances. As for Harrison, now he's stomping about the floor like a madman, attempting to compensate for appearing feeble in the presence of the dominant figure. "Do you really believe it makes a difference?" "Not to anyone in particular," he says. "To everyone here." "Why do you?" "Believe that some politician will try to silence us?" Around 800 individuals find work at this mill. The machines keep running, and 800 families are able to eat. My station is his last stop. Pays me no mind. "Giuseppe, would you like to return to Italy?" "No longer will I go hungry in Sicily. Focusing on my task is essential." Stay silent. There is no correct response. Personally, I felt that way. Continuation follows. However, his argument stands. We're in a jam. Everyone here, the mill, is aware of it. Indeed, Harrison is aware of it. Roosevelt, if anyone, would know. Eliminating child labor would have the unintended consequence of displacing half of New York's families. In the middle of the afternoon, I can't stand this heat anymore. January, outdoors. But this place is hotter than hell in August. Everyone is drenched with perspiration. The smaller children are fidgeting. Then it takes place. The new boy, little Stan. He only falls. Subsequently, he sweeps beneath a machine. Pretty soon, he'll be laying face down on the floor. "Mommy," his mother yells. Hurries over to catch up with him. Kowalski orders everyone to remain at their stations. Conversely, she isn't. She dashes over to her boy, retrieves him from beneath the machine. Despite his bluish lips, he is breathing, overheating, weariness. It could be even worse. Someone tells him to go get water, get him outside. Another person adds. However, his mother merely embraces him, floating, erratically repeating a phrase or two in Polish, perhaps a prayer, be it a blessing or a banishment. Sometimes it's hard to tell them apart. Harrison shows up. Your position was abandoned. His gaze is met by the woman's. Her eyes have an intensity I've never witnessed before. Avoid dread. Embrace calmness. Some other stuff. And vacant space. Says fire me in English. Absolute clarity. Take my job away. Plus, he manages to do it. There it is. Both she and the boy. Out, carrying Stan, she walks him to the door. At this point, he is semi-conscious. Mumbling unfazed, she continues forth too. Workers have been eliminated. We need to fill 2 quotas. The machine is sluggish for everyone, you see. Harrison is pointing at a child in one of the whirling frames. You are now sweeping. In a flash, the misfortune of one person can turn into a fortunate turn for another. Yes, it is correct. Rhythmic seating. With the exception that a finger is lost the moment the music stops. It could be even worse. Section 2.15. The blood in my hands has stopped. The news is bad, resulting in complete loss of sensation at the nerve ends. My fingers are flexed. Return as much sensation as you can. Completely non-existent. It's not going well for Marie. Her skirt is now exposing blood. A few of the lads have taken note. Expressing opinions. Anthony, please keep quiet, I inform him. You seem familiar? Who is her partner? Someone who isn't a total slob is me. He approaches me, rising fist. Only 15 years old. Older by 3 years. I am 30 pounds heavier. Teenage males, we are caught in the path of Kowalski's stick. Take combat at your leisure. Employed time is for doing work. Anthony steps back, but he looks at me. Nothing has ended yet. Great. Another problem? As if I needed one. 30 minutes. Our Rose, last female, bursts into laughter. Laughter that is unusual. The kind that indicates an internal fracture. Hello? She goes by Catherine, a 4-year resident. Presently 14 years old, she appears 40. In this case, the mill is responsible. Dog years are used to calculate your age. Standing there is all she does. Making fun of her device. Made fun of the cotton. Joking about nothing. My name is Catherine. Marianne gives it her best shot. My name is Catherine. End it. Conversely, she isn't. More forceful laughter escapes her lips. Her face contorted with tears. Kowalski moves in her direction. One of the more senior ladies, though, beats them to it. Arranges to hold Catherine close. Murmurs a word or two. Sobbing replaces laughing. Be quiet. Probably won't land her in unemployment. Her sibling passed just yesterday. And this is what the woman tells Kowalski. Food and drink. Kowalski gives a brief pause. He seems almost human for a split second. Just 5 minutes, he assures. Then I will get back to my work.
Give yourself 5
minutes to mourn your brother. Afterwards, we will return to the task of machines being fed. In the mill, that is mercy. 2:45. That accident whistle. There are 3 today. The mean is 2. Any number 3 indicates death or imminent death. The machinery keeps running. While listening for details, we have learned to work from one station to another. Whispers traveled. Level 3. Room for spinning. A new girl? Just how terrible is it? Not good. Constantly negative. When someone cuts their finger, no one calls for help. Your job is on your mind, at your vocation, at your leisure. Workplace safety is likely a topic of discussion in their meetings, boards of directors, rules, and policies. Someone whose only responsibility is to prevent harm from coming to anybody. The safety system in this case is the accident whistle. Notifies everyone to step up their game so they aren't the next target. Time is 3. Down 9 hours, only 5 left. Your feet have lost all sensation. These are merely temporary supports that you are relying on. Your back hurts like hell. Your fingers are dead. The cotton dust has irritated your throat. The wall is this. Around 3 o'clock every day you do it. The wall beyond which your body becomes speechless, when your body begs you to take a seat. For the moment, though, get some sleep. Oh no, that's not possible. Sitting down has a certain effect on children. They stand up no more. As employees, we are not. Therefore, you continue. When times are tough, you find that sanctuary within, that insignificant spot. At this place, you are not truly present, in which you're merely using your hands to accomplish tasks. I have no ideas, no sentiments, a simple gesture. That's how you stay alive. What keeps us all alive? When one is not fully present, 13 minutes. Unfortunately, Marie passes out. Not entirely. Using the equipment, she manages to catch herself. However, her legs faltered momentarily. As pale as paper, she seems. I'm all right, she says before anyone has a chance to respond. Yeah, I'm doing all right. However, such is not the case for her. She has bled excessively. Mrs. Meals just spent 9 hours on my feet. A choice is mine to make. Most likely ignorant. It will undoubtedly be costly for me. I declare that I require the privy. Gaze is met by Kowalski. He left during lunch. Urgent, he makes a note. Of it in his journal, there's at least 1 more penny there. However, I avoid using the restroom. Going to the break room, where the medical supplies are kept, is where I go. Medical supplies. It's hilarious. A bottle of what could be booze sits in a box with a few rags. Put some clean rags in my shirt, and I'm good to go. A sliver of bread was also dropped off. I also accept that. Concealed theft. The fence is being fired at, but Marie demands assistance. I return to the floor, and while Kowalski is distracted, I give her the rags. Anthony, your lover, takes a sneering look. In response to someone who isn't worthless, Marie fires back. With the rags in her possession, she vanishes for a brief moment behind the machinery, returns with a slightly improved appearance. I gave her the bread in little pieces over the course of the following hour. I don't even notice that she's eating it. Thank you, but not at all, because gratitude can be harmful. Well, someone is what they imply. Plus, paying back people becomes tricky. 3, 4, 5. The upstairs mechanics are still repairing the broken belt. Structure trembles periodically. Contrasting metals, an American construction site soundtrack. The sound of children being crushed, for example. It all comes down to your perspective. Once again, Stefan limps by. That foot of his is in worse shape than before. His boot is now drenched through with blood. My advice to him is to have that checked out. For what purpose? How much money was it? He is correct. Only the well-off can afford to see a doctor. Healing is a binary process for us. I offer what my mom knows, ingredients and such. No stranger to this land, I see. Drop by later on. Once the shift is over, a nod comes from him. It's quite small. Something, though, my mom is knowledgeable about herbs. Acquired the knowledge from her mother in Italy. The shoe won't mend itself. However, it could prevent it from spoiling, from turning into the kind of infection that kills you in a week. Time. 4 in the afternoon, I worked for 10 hours. Outside, the light is shifting. It's mastering the art of the late afternoon angle. Soon, darkness will descend. In the dark we came. We will depart when it is dark. Such like vampires. Less, of course, it's us who are having our blood drawn. Fresh issue. A peculiar sound is emanating from one of the primary machinery. Putting metal into contact with metal. In an inappropriate place by grinding it. Word gets out. Its meaning is universally understood. That device is destined to malfunction. As soon as it happens, it will shatter severely. No one, however, speaks up. For the simple reason that halting, the machine will halt manufacturing. And when production comes to a halt, Harrison naturally wonders why. Plus, if you don't say anything sooner, you're basically admitting that you knew it would break. So, We simply find ways to get around it. Maintain a safe distance. Just wait. For it to happen, 15 minutes. That is a fact. No, the machine doesn't simply malfunction. It goes boom. Well, it doesn't detonate explosively. However, a gear takes flight, swoops across the room, and wedges itself into the wall just 6 inches away from the child's feet. Everything stops working on the machine. Whispers of steam, spraying oil, viewing. The demise of a metal dragon is akin to this. Harrison will be there in no time. Who was in charge of this base? There is a complete absence of response. Who was in charge of this base? A young lad shows his approval by raising his hand. Hey there, Timothy. Not the same Timothy. Not that guy who had his arm amputated. I'd be 11 years old. Irish, sweet. Little boy, did you fail to detect any issues? Absolutely not, sir. Is that all? Is it possible that this device merely broke down on its own? Yes, I am unsure, sir. Harrison has a purple complexion. The business will lose hundreds of dollars. Because of this, possibly thousands. Payback is inevitable. It's finished. Step outside. Excuse me, sir. My time is up. Timothy departs. Yet another youth without a job. Some families just won't have dinner tonight. Everyone else continues to labor, like a corpse, the malfunctioning. Gadget lies there. Puddle of oil encircling it, resembling blood. A cautionary tale on the consequences of error. Even when you're innocent, not to mention when you're not to blame, not ... 4.30. Things are looking up for Marie. Bread was helpful. The damp cloths were useful. The fact that someone cared was the most important factor, though. It's just that is plenty. At times, somebody who can see that you're going under and toss you a lifeline. Anything, she murmurs. Thank you, as Kowalski walks across the room. I have no idea what you mean. Her face contorts into an almost smile. It had been weeks since I last saw her nearly grin. She claims your sister is lucky. Why? Thinking of you as a sibling, my mind wanders to Anna, aged 7 years. Most likely. At home at the moment. A little assistance for Ma. She will be here in a year or two. Remaining in the same position as Marie, gouging out where Marie's going down, until a change occurs. Unless Roosevelt wasn't serious when he stated that up to the end of time, Section 4.45, the youths on the afternoon shift had begun to arrive. Young people knew vitality. They'll toil away until midnight, slog home for a short nap, and then get back to it the next day. A few of them are rather small, about 6 or 7 years old, declared to be unlawful. But who's keeping tabs? Guess who's in charge of enforcement? About once a year, the factory inspectors stop around, and Harrison is always prepared, covers the youngest children that day. Allows each person an additional 5 minutes off, adds a touch of humanity. Someone is sobbing among the newcomers. His mother's English is so bad that Kowalski can't understand a word she's saying. Might be Russian. Alternatively, Ukrainian. The child is reluctant to leave. He's desperately holding on to his mom's skirt. Her deft touch freezes digits, forces him to approach Kowalski. Proceeds on foot without glancing back. The child is standing there, crying, age 6 years, perhaps 7. Initial encounter, that first day, sticks with me. Its terrifying nature, the sound that made you wish you could shield your ears from it, the odor that produced a gag reflex. The grown-ups who treated you like a cog in the wheel. Hey, I beckoned to the child. As tears stream down his cheeks, he fixes his gaze on me. Handkerchief in hand, I reach for it. That one I use to shield my face from the dust that cotton produces. He should get it. Caught off guard, he catches it. On the nose. To simulate wiping, I act it out. Sure enough, he does. Seems less pitiful now. I don't care. The handkerchief is unclean. However, nothing can be significant when you are 6 years old and your mother abruptly abandons you. Time is 5. Still 11 hours to go. Only 3 left. Outside, the sun is going down. The little light that does come in through the windows is turning orange, so you can tell. Lovely if your eyes could perceive it. Imagine a world free of the chaos, dust, machine oil, and desperation that surrounds you. Now your entire body is going into shutdown mode. Mistakes are being made by you. Loss of bobbins. ignored modifications. I mean, seriously, everyone is. At this point, mishaps do occur when your energy levels are low enough that you can't pay attention, when your reactions aren't quick enough, when the event that the machines triumph. Remain alert, Marie tells me. Keeping to herself. Attention. Everyone paying attention. Maintain your acuity, as if that were a decision, as if we have the power to choose not to feel tired. While we make an effort, practice makes perfect. While Kowalski isn't watching, we should splash ourselves with water. Let our minds wander to melodies. Do whatever it takes to reach 7 o'clock, 15 minutes beyond the hour. These machines don't sound the same anymore. On the other hand, after 11 hours of non-stop loudness, your hearing might be finally giving out. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the water, lost in the background. In the distance, since the near-fight, Anthony has been staring at me. He remains seated, taking it easy. Afterwards, most likely, whenever Kowalski is unable to prevent it, for those moments when it's simply children being children, not employees interfering with output, very well, welcome him. Nice has replaced fear for me. At least the new Russian child has stopped weeping. He was grouped with the sweepers by someone. The machines are currently holding him. Perhaps he's asking himself what he did wrong to merit this, what each of us accomplished. Hello, Joey. Next to me is Stefan, a lifeless visage. The foot hurts. Worst time ever. I will not be able to see you. Tonight, he states, stumbles around. I'll send my mom to see you. Our building will not be visited by her. After nightfall, no one goes there. He is correct. There are 5 corners to his building. It's almost as bad as ours. This is the type of spot where curious onlookers just fade away. Afterwards, what comes next? Resigning, he shrugs. I'm done, he intends. To do it, do your best to shrug and cross your fingers that his foot stays healthy. In 1900, this was healthcare. This is the result of being economically insignificant. 5.30. Once again, Harrison is on the move. I am verifying quotas. At every stop, he takes notes. Seeing him approaching causes some children to run faster, chasing the illusion of efficiency, chasing after the penalty. Going fast when you're exhausted like this is risky. A Polish girl finds out the hard way. As she is seated 3 rows away, changing bobbins quickly is her goal. Get Harrison to see how hard she's working. Her arm gets caught. The initial screech is very high-pitched. As the machine ensnares her, he abruptly ends. Complete halt. Yeah, even the robots. The emergency stop is actually pressed by someone. It's the authentic one. She's in a bind. At an angle, her arm twisted. Hands remain rigid, which is worse. She knows. She feels everything because she is conscious. Nearby, 2 mechanics brandish there. Tools for her to be extracted. The apparatus must be partially disassembled. Completes in 5 minutes. She whimpered for 5 minutes, withholding an ecstatic cry, seeking to muster courage. Her arm is in a terrible state when they manage to free her. Visible bone structure, splattered blood all around. Dar. Her mom is also an employee here. She dashes over, embraces her little girl. The Polish speaker says something that combines elements of a prayer and a swear word. With his ledger in hand, Harrison is present. That's it, he declares. It's much like he's describing a malfunctioning component of a machine. Eliminate her. According to her mother, she needs to see a doctor. After that, bring her to one. How much money was it? No response from Harrison. Isn't required to. Everyone here knows the solution. No funds are available. Dr. Smith is unavailable. It's just a mother who can't afford to treat her daughter's broken arm, and the child is 13 years old. She is taken away by them. She has gone silent. Undoubtedly. Startled, at the very least we should all be able to accept the truth when it becomes apparent. No one will come to your rescue. The machinery turns on once more. Machines, always. It's trembling, Marie. I might have been the one. Any one of us could have been it. However, it was not the case. Present day, that's correct. It wasn't us today. Next week, the following week. Everyone is caught by the machines in the end. Section 5.45. Where the Polish girl was injured, there is still blood on the floor. It remains unclean. We find ways to overcome it. Do not step on it. Downplay its presence. Still, it's there, real gummy and dark. Premises that prey on youngsters are evident here. Once the new Russian child sees it, she begins to weep all over again. Nobody can hold him responsible. As soon as he started, he saw 2 children badly injured. Good day, young man. Opportunity Nation. Marie abruptly remarks that someone ought to document this. Exactly what are you going to write about? Sure thing. U.S. So, what goes down here? Who would really read it? I am uncertain. The populace is common. Folks, those who purchase the fabric that we manufacture, let me chuckle. Commoners don't give a hoot about the origins of their clothing. The low price is important to them. Blood is cheap because of us. Perhaps that Roosevelt fellow, she goes on to say, maybe he would peruse it. Just now he arrived, witnessed it firsthand. Nevertheless, he is unable to be there in every single venue. Not every mill and factory can be seen. She has that expression. That perilous one. The one that could lead to her dismissal from her job comes to mind? It could be even worse. The time is 6 o'clock. Just another hour. You can no longer even pretend that your body is functioning normally. Your bobbin dropping frequency is every 3. Time is not on your side. Your fingers won't lock together correctly. At this age, many children experience the amputation of small digits. After the machines have taken their toll and fatigue sets in, continue to be alert, I tell myself, to the tune of my voice. It doesn't matter who listens. Has Giuseppe become a self-absorbed prat? No, Anthony yells, becoming as insane as Catherine. By the grace of God, I shall not wilt like you, come back as feeble. Sorry, but that's all I have. I am mentally exhausted. He approaches me once more. However, an eerie event follows. Stefan puts himself in our path. Stefan, who has severe gait issues. Just give him space, Tony, I don't know. Will I induce bleeding? In you, on the other hand, I will inform everyone about what you did. Well, here's the deal. Anthony's complexion turns pale. The information that Stefan has is negative. Nobody would. Give me a go. Anthony steps back, returns to his responsibilities. Disaster avoided for the time being. What is it? Quietly, I inquire of Stefan. Absolutely. Nothing, however. He is unaware of that. My cheeks tingle with amusement. Almost there. 15 minutes? 45 minutes? It is now the night shift in full swing. New hires prepared to replace us. They appear spotless. I slept. Have we ever been that spotless? What about that? There are grown-ups among them. Serious grown-ups, regardless of age group. Since the night shift pays 50 cents more, they take it $50 to labor in the shadows. Soon as the number of accidents doubles, when people are so worn out, they start to have hallucinations. My successor's here. One young Polish man, possibly 10. He's observing my operation, acquiring the cadence. He will replace me in 15 minutes. At long last, I will be free to depart. For as long as I can hold my breath for another 15 minutes, are you aware of my desires? Out of nowhere, Marie says, "Excuse me, dessert of frozen yogurt?" I find myself staring at her because of how utterly random it is. Dessert of frozen yogurt, yeah, tasted it once. The Coney Island pier? Quickly before passing away, my uncle whisked me away. Vanilla flavor, cold and sweet, and her words dwindle, engulfed in the recollection of a singular, idyllic moment amidst an endless array of flawed ones. Tell me what you need. She queries me. My mind, it lingers. Could you tell me what I desire? Putting aside the glaringly important, apart from just not showing up, it's just to lay eyes on the water. Have you never laid eyes on a beach? Observed it from the ship as we crossed the water? However, it is not the case at all. Disregarding the beach, leaving things alone, salty flavor. I see, yeah. Quite audible. Every single time waves crash, as if they were machines. However, superior, different. For the time being, we are silent. While trapped in hell, two children fantasize about ice cream and beaches. 6:20 minutes. The person in charge of the night shift shows up. Brennan, sir. Has nothing to do with the youngster who broke his arm earlier today. In a city filled with Irish names, another one appears. Standing outside the office, he and Harrison engage in conversation, most likely regarding the visit of Roosevelt. Concerning the incident with the Polish girl, it all comes down to the price. Forget about lives lost, the monetary expense. Constantly the monetary expense. 6.25. Right on cusp now. Almost ready to go. Feel the tremors in your legs, quite trembling. For example, when a fever is present. Except, you're perfectly healthy. You're simply physically and mentally drained to the breaking point. The little Russian boy vomits. He squats down on the floor and lets his stomach drop. It contained only bile and the bread that was given to him at dinner break. He is handcuffed to his desk by his supervisor. Difficult but not impossible. Leave it alone. The child grasps the gist of the message, despite his limited English proficiency. Attempts to clean it using his hands. No gloves on him, Christ Jesus. From my workstation, I take a handful of cotton scraps. He should get it. Educate him on how to use it as a mop. He gives me the most angelic gaze, because I literally just saved his life. The only thing I did was hand him some used cotton. Waste cotton is a lifesaver when you're sick and covered in your own vomit while working in a foreign. It's a country's factory, and you don't understand the language. 6:30 p.m. Turning over the reins. At night, as soon as it is, Kowalski yells, "Turn off the lights. Turn on the sleep." There is a tangible alleviation. The weight has been lifted from your shoulders. However, we do not bolt for the exit. Nobody can do it. We can't possibly go at that speed. Here we shuffle, 3 zombies making their way to the door. I have Marie by my side. We remain silent. And Puvavi exhausted to speak. Here we are, ahead of schedule. We are finished, according to the lovely, horrible clock. Till tomorrow. Exit with a punch. Section 6.31. 13 hours. Negative delays. Fines minus. Less than all they can possibly imagine taking away from us. The whole cost is $3.70 my creation. For the day is this. I hope for the best. When Harrison stops coming up with excuses to dock me. $3.70 for the 13 hours I spent as a kid. The outside brisk air is as savage as a baptism. Decently harsh, however, purifying. Leave no cotton dust behind. No motor oil. January is solely for New York. As long as it's not the factory, it can be dirty, frigid, and gorgeous. This time Stefan is limping much worse. Do you still intend to skip it? May I inquire? I won't be able to continue. Afterwards, what comes next? Hi there, Giuseppe. Hello, Anthony. It is understood. He's been sitting tight. Here we go again. He states, I'm not up to this right now. Weak to engage in combat. Not in the mood to run. Exhausted to give a damn. Hello, Anthony. No, really. Tonight is not going to work. In that moment, you expose my ignorance. My assistance is unnecessary. For it, saying the wrong thing, my stomach feels the impact of his fist. Gesturing, I gasp for air, till Marie shows up, though. Stefan as well. In addition to 2 additional children whose identities I am completely unaware, retouch him, and we'll all leap on you, Marie says. She says, actually, yes, as if she were. Reporting the weather, Anthony scans the room. A team of 5 players versus a single opponent. Not even he's that dim-witted. Nothing has ended yet, he states. It is indeed. Listen, Stefan declares. Everyone is too exhausted to continue, so it's over. Leave Tony alone. Get some rest tonight, and we'll all act like we hate one another again tomorrow. This evening, though, our only goal for the night is to stay alive. Anthony gives us all the same look. A change occurs in his expression. A calming effect takes place, superseded by an alternative. Fullness of energy. You're all the same, basically. He then exits the room silently. I am grateful. The others hear me out. When asked about it, Marie just shrugs. When possible, We support one another. They float off in opposite directions, varying properties. Returning to several hells, I begin to walk. The hour doesn't seem to affect the level of activity on Orchard Street. Heading to industries, night shift workers, those who work the day shift trudging home, the city that is always on the go, due to its financial constraints. I can return home on foot, thankfully because I am completely incapacitated mentally. A total of 4 blocks, up and down 4 stories. Our one room costs $4 per week. The exception of our work hours, everything is 4. Counted 14. As I go by, I see a newsboy, a nighttime edition. Reform is something Roosevelt has promised. He is crying out, urges the abolition of child labor. Let me chuckle, or shed a tear. Could do either one. Has must come to a close? Of course. At what point? Following year? Coming years? When will Timothy's no longer have arms? Just how many more Polish girls will be twisted? On their first day, how many more Russian children vomit? The tides will turn, Ronald Reagan said, he added. Very possibly, no, not this evening. The maize husk mattress will be my bed for the night, in the midst of my squished family. I need to get 5 hours of sleep before I start to feel refreshed. Look ahead to see the tenement door. Return home as it stands. In your bed, thoughts of you pass through my mind. Your actual bed, warm, no risk. Our rights guaranteed by the constitutions we fought so hard to develop, constitutions etched into the flesh by the innocent lives of children like Timothy, Brennan, and the Polish girl whose identity eluded me. Additionally, you are most welcome. This weekend, as the workday progresses for 8 hours, you gotta have that childhood. It was our expense. I, Marie, Stefan, and even Anthony are among the children. For what? Years of our life, limbs, and fingers. I paid for the privilege of lying in comfort. While listening to tales of how terrible things used to be, what a miserable day that was. Something happened in January 2000. When I was 12 years old, I put in 13 hours of work and earned $3.70. With any luck, there you may see the entrance to my building. Going home will take me just 5 more minutes, eating anything Ma was able to whip up. The sight of Anna and Marco attempting to avoid thinking about the next day as we collapse into our mattress. Since I intend to repeat the process tomorrow, time and again, unless there's a change, or at least till I snap. Pick the one that's scheduled first. It is completely dark in the corridor of my tenement, completely without windows, out with the gas lights. The odor of overcrowding is all it takes. I rely on my recollection and hearing to guide me up the steps. Crying on the 2nd floor is the infant of Mrs. O'Brien. On the 3rd, Mr. Goldstein coughed.
Ow!
War between the Kowalski children on the 4th floor. Up the stairs, my legs hardly scrape by. To complete each one is like tackling a mountain. Stairs and 13 hours on your feet are not friends. There's a small opening in the door of our apartment. Whatever I'm working on, Ma makes sure to leave it slightly ajar. Says it so I can avoid waking the kids by not knocking. The truth, though, is that she won't be able to sleep until she knows I've returned home safely. Is this Joe? Lo, Ma, every time. I'm killed by the relief in her voice. Everything inside seems old and yellowed due to the kerosene lamp. Marcus and Anna have already started to eat, so long as it's not considered food. Bread and a soup that consists primarily of water with a few floaters of cabbage. In a perfect world, it would be a potato. Where was your day at the office? Inquiring. Ma says, every night, the same question. Great, I reply. Each night, the same response. I am lying, and we both know it. This morning, she noticed the blood on my clothing. Tomorrow, she will encounter fresh blood. And yet, we put on the act. Actually, it's easier said than done. My friend Anna sprung to her feet and threw me a bear hug. Has candy been brought by you, Joey? I made a vow earlier today. Seems like it. Was last year. Not this evening, Piccola. Perhaps later today. She remained silent. The fact that she is 7 years old has taught her not to anticipate anything. That's the effect of being poor. Warns against putting one's hopes up too high. After I take a seat, Ma sets a bowl down beside me. Despite its thinness, the soup is heated. It tastes great, after surviving on a single slice of bread for 13 hours. Papa, I say, staying late to complete my task. Extra time spent at the port. He was selected for night shift, which is an extra shift, which translates to an additional $1. So it's possible that we'll eat beef on Sunday. Perhaps it won't. Perhaps the renter will be wanted by the landlord for non-payment of rent. As a result, medication may be necessary for some individuals. This could be our only option. Stefan is in pain, I inform Ma, his soul. Not good. With a nod, she agrees. Let me whip up a poultice. He can handle anything if you want to. His structure has 5 corners that turns her off. It is begging for trouble to play 5 points after dark. However, she gives me a glance, notices an expression on my face. Just how terrible is it? Bad. Another moan escapes her lips, rises from the floor. Herbs are taken down from the shelf. Italian dried goods she brought back with her. As often as possible, she grows on the fire escape. Rural, traditional medicine. On sometimes, it delivers the desired result. On rare occasions, it falls short. This is all we got, though, in my opinion. An accident occurred today. The girl had her arm encircled, quite badly mangled it. Mother crosses her arms. Did she make it? Yeah. However, she will no longer be employed. Does she have relatives? Sherry, I just shrugged. Well, isn't that the question? The inability to work is a problem for families. Marco glances up from his bowl of soup. In what time will I begin working? The boy is 9 years old. When is no longer an issue, it's time. No, Ma says with a strong tone. Do not leave school. Contrary to popular belief, Joey is employed. The funds are essential. Continue your education, she says again. However, everyone is aware that this is just a temporary measure. Yet another year. Perhaps there are 2. After that, Marco will have taken my place. Getting red where I'm red. Someone is pounding on the door. Soft, with reservations. Mommy opens it. Down the hall, there's a new family. The Russians. The infant in the mother's arms is sobbing uncontrollably. After uttering a few words in Russian, she switches to English. No, really, sick baby. Do you happen to have any medication on hand? Ma jumps right in, uses a few of her own herbs. Helps the woman brew tea by demonstrating the process. Her supply will last for 3 days. It's half of what we have. That, however, is not mentioned by Ma. She makes an effort to pay. Displays a pair of pennies. Yeah, Ma says no. We support one another. Let the woman weep. The real deal. She gets upset over herbs that cost 2 pence. I inquire of Ma, what if we require those herbs? After she departs, then someone will come to our aid. Which one? No response is her response. We are both aware of this. Perhaps no one. Even so, you are helpful. For when you fail to empathize with the suffering of others, you dehumanize yourself. Your humanity, however, is the one thing that cannot be taken from you in this world. However, it was not without effort. I feel a tug on my sleeve from Anna. Joey, narrate a tale for us. Anna, I am exhausted. Will you kindly? When it comes to Italy? Italy, I hardly recall it. Resigned at the age of 9. In any case, I can recall sufficient details. Sunlight that felt like true warmth, authentic culinary aromas. It sounded like people were laughing out of joy rather than desperation. All right, let me tell you a tale. The lemon trees in our backyard are something I bring up, as if you could pluck them from the tree itself. How a citrus aroma permeated the entire atmosphere. The way Nona would sweeten lemonade to the point where it hurt your teeth. Most of it is false. There, too, we were destitute. The lemons had a tart flavor. Unfortunately, Nona passed away just before we set out. However, the truth is unnecessary for Anna and Marco. In a tenement that smells like urine and despair. They need something lovely to ponder while they drift off to sleep on mattresses made of corn husks. Marco wants to know why we left. The truthful response: because our hunger was overwhelming. The landowners seized all of the property just because the United States of America has better things in store. Instead, I say, seize the opportunity. In our tiny chamber, Marco surveys the area in the frosty inside of the window. In the corner, beside the chamber pot? As we looked at our parents' weary faces, this is a chance, right? We're much better off now. But is it really? We endured our shared famine in Italy. Here we perish one by one in shifts. There is a commotion. In the corridor, once more, Mr. O'Brien was inebriated. He was being begged by his wife to be quiet. A collision followed. There was a pause, and then nothing. A black eye will be on Mrs. O'Brien's face tomorrow. According to her, she entered a door. Let's act as if we believe her. Ma says it's time to go to sleep. On their respective sides of the bed, Marco and Anna will curl up. I will shortly accompany. Then the poultice must be taken to Stefan before anything else. Listen closely, Ma warns. Presented the bundled herbs to me. Forever have been a second falsehood that we both act as if we believe. The temperature has plummeted much lower outside. I don't need this thin jacket. In ideal conditions, the stroll to 5 Points takes no more than 20 minutes. It might take 30 or 40 minutes tonight. Nighttime changes the streets. Less light, less good. Inside are the day laborers. People go out at night. The inebriated, dishonest people in order to buy food. Some women sell themselves. Younger children swarming in groups, rummaging through belongings. This is a different kind of economy. The one that is driven by despair and shadows. My chin remains lowered. Quicken your pace. Keep your distance. Make sure you don't stand out. Disappear completely. Our neighborhood is better than 5 Points. 5 Points is the underworld compared to our tenement. Like inebriated people, the buildings lean against one another. More sewage than cobblestone makes up the streets. You can't put a finger on the aroma. There is no door in Stefan's building. Nothing more than a gap where a door formerly stood. Stepping past slumbering hallway residents, I ascend to the 3rd story. Perhaps you're having trouble sleeping. No. Clear answer. Avoiding knowledge is preferable. There are 2 bedrooms in Stefan's house, the pinnacle of 5-star indulgence. His mom speaks out. She remembers me from when I worked at the factory. I don't understand why you're here, Joey. Something. For Stefan's foot was brought. Let me in, she says. Stefan is lounging on a mattress that rivals the luxury of ours. The size of his foot has doubled due to swelling. It is the wrong color. Mixed hues of purple, verdant, and yellow. Dear Jesus, Stefan. Honestly, I'm not a fan. The poultice is unfolded. Demonstrate its use to his mom. It is not going to solve his problem. It may or may not be helpful, but it's still something. Thank you, Stefan remarks. You are folks that Ma values. Your try as she may, she fails. From the corner, his younger brothers are observing. They were 3 in number. Everyone younger than 8. People who will be employed in mills in the future. I advise him to see a real doctor about it. To his delight, he chuckles, laughs in. Fact, of course, I will simply spend all the money that I do not have, assuming it spoils. If it fails, I am aware of the consequences. Both of us do. The disease. High temperature. Death. Maybe even amputation if you're fortunate. Unsteady, Stefan. Look into finding a job, maybe. When Roosevelt claims things will change, I'm willing to help. Roosevelt makes numerous statements. Is he not credible to you? He shrugs Stefan. So far as I can tell, he is serious. But actually, putting it into practice? Something very different. In New York, you know how many miners work? In the thousands. Countless individuals. They can't be stopped simply. The entire city would crumble. He's correct. We are the bedrock upon which all other things rest. Industries in the United States rely on child labor. Turn off the vehicle. The complete apparatus malfunctions, in my opinion. That could be the right course of action. Perhaps everything needs to snap. Next steps? Will everyone go hungry? We are already going hungry. Nah, we're on the verge of going hungry. You're mistaken. The bread his mom brought over was as tough as rock. But she's giving it to me as an offer. The regulations for guests? When you're down to 5 points, you still give everything you can. I sneak a little bite. Assume the role of a food critic. Wrap it in your palm. Saved for a future date. Regarding Anna, Stefan warned you that you should leave immediately. This becomes much worse after 9. It has gotten much worse. Fights are breaking out in the distance. Splintered glass. A wailing woman. Until tomorrow, my friend. Hey, if I can walk, you can as well. Yeah, you're not smart enough to stay down, he says with a smirk. Giuseppe, please leave this place. I can get home faster on foot. Reason being, I have heard that the poultice has helped Stefan's family a bit. The 5 points at night help you walk faster, for one thing. Perhaps not at all. For the most part, though, I'm just going to go home on autopilot because I'm so exhausted. While walking, I come across a church. I believe he is Presbyterian. Inside there is light. Warmth? I consider stepping in for a brief moment. Just 5 minutes of sitting in a warm spot will do. Catholics, meanwhile, do not visit Protestant houses of worship. Doing so will keep them out of trouble. And we're all already in over our heads. Turning to Orchard Street, there is less noise. Nightfall has fallen upon most of the population. Praying for the transition that begins tomorrow. The never-ending loop. The only light in our building comes from a single window. Level 3. A sick infant is keeping Mrs. Goldstein awake at night. That person whose cough sounds like it's being raked. That infant will not survive. It is common knowledge. I think she's aware of it. However, she persists in her endeavors. As I serenade it. Great job. Fronting mortality with sonatas. Going up the flight of steps. Level 4. This is our front entrance. Within, all are fast sleeping. Just for me, Ma left the lamp on low. I extinguish it, disregard it, feel your way. Around this room thoroughly, I remove my footwear. In terms of fabric, my socks are like a sieve. It seems like I've spent the entire day in the sea. My feet are white and creased. But it's actually perspiration, hard work for 13 hours. While I rest, the corn husk mattress makes a crackling sound while he sleeps. Marco moves around and takes the thin blanket. A phrase regarding lemons is whispered by Anna. I look up into the sky. It's too dark to make out. Nevertheless, I am familiar with every crevice, each discoloration caused by dampness. Each and every spot where the plaster is crumbling, the alarm will go off in half an hour. I will rise and do it once more in 5 hours. The computers will get yet another day of my youth in 5 hours. For the next 5 hours, though, I'm simply a little kid laying between my siblings, just like any other 12-year-old, amidst cramped quarters, on the ground floor of a crumbling structure, where his life is meaningless to the city. In the year 1900, this was the American ideal. The wealthiest nation in the world owes its success to this. From the bottom, this is the appearance of progress. What about tomorrow? It will be repeated tomorrow, given that we are left with no alternative. Why? Because we have to feed our families. Because mechanical beings are ravenous. Furthermore, they will only eat us. On the other hand, things will change one day. Roosevelt assured everyone it had to be. The broken arm of the Polish girl begs for it. It is insisted upon by Timothy Brennan's severed hand. The future will be written in the blood, sweat, and exhaustion of all of us, these mill children. Our words will be read by them one day. They will realize the value of it in due time. At some point, no, not this evening, all I feel tonight is fatigue. Feeling so exhausted, I am unable to complete the thought. A profound and dreamless abyss engulfs me. A church bell rings midnight in the distance, barely heard through the crumbling walls and fading night. There are 5 hours to go. Before the horn goes off, tomorrow is just 5 hours away. A tranquil 5 hours. A bird's wing, that dreadful buzzer. Time is 5. Once again, I can feel your eyeballs twitching. Your body is inflexible. When you least expect it, everything hurts. Your hands are like unyielding claws. Someone slammed hammers into your feet, supporting yourself. Even though you're just 12 years old, you feel as creaky as an old man. Your ribs are punctured by Marco's foot. You're biting into Anna's hair. The maize husks that were under your feet have been compressed to almost nothing between you and the splinters. There's some agricultural waste, and you're lying on boards. You, Giuseppe?
What?
Mother's voice, Soft. I am exhausted. She has been awake. For the past hour attempting to concoct breakfast from scratch, take a seat. A chill pervades the room. The lamplight catches your breath. January is indifferent to your financial situation. January persists indefinitely. Dressed similarly to yesterday, dried. Perspiration and cotton dust have made them rigid. They have a mill odor. As desperate as machine oil, however, these are the sole work attire that you possess. Thus, they proceed. Your fingers. Oh my goodness, your fingers. The situation is even more dire now than it was yesterday. The wounds have crusted over, but the crust is splitting. A new vein of blood forming. Their stiffness is an issue. When someone took your fingers and replaced them with wood, you show them off, put them to use. Make an effort to regain some motion. These hands will be required for the next 13 hours. There is Anna, wide awake, peering at you. Is there any pain? Her question is direct. Excuse me. Every single thing. Very. Bright youngster. Far too perceptive. No, you are dishonest. Within time, you adapt. She examines your crimson hands, a hunched-over position. When you put on your boots, you cringe. No, I refuse to acclimate myself to it. I also didn't. No one here did either. But in other languages, get and want mean completely different. Things same breakfast from Ma to you. Tough as bricks bread in authentic Joe. Today, though, something new has emerged. The size of a little cracker. Mom, we just do not have the funds required. Eat, munch on some food, enjoy a heavenly cheese. Flavor, almost like a relic from a primal era. Imagine a world where mealtimes were more than just filling. Over at the table is Papa Dot. Sometime throughout the night, he returned home. His expression is totally lifeless, staying alive dead, like someone piled on a body and dressed it for work. Are you inquiring about the docks? He remains silent. Looks absent-mindedly at his coffee. He seems nervous. It's unrelated to cold. Due to extreme fatigue that has rewired his neurological system, all of us are moving in this direction. It's life of a zombie, toiling away until we cease to exist as a species. Meat that is movable only. There is nothing new about the route to the mill. Very same streets. Familiar faces. Still the same place. I don't see Stefan, though. At last, his foot triumphed. Since yesterday, Marie's gait has slowed. The young Polish, a woman who severely injured her, alone, her mother is making her way. As I walk, Tommy Flanagan follows suit. Do you hear me? He states, am I being heard? A strike is being discussed. There's constant strike discussion. No, this time I mean it. The grown-ups, they got together. At what point? The night before? Once the shift is over, as it is at Donnelly's, people from Ireland who work as workers frequent Donnelly's. Meeting there indicates seriousness. Can you tell me what they want? Long work days? What are the necessary safety devices? Payouts for wounds? Let me chuckle. Asking for the moon would be a mistake. Company policy shall always... Yes, I am aware. However, they will go with it regardless. At what point? I have no idea. Very soon. A blow? No way will it succeed. Cabs will be brought in by the corporation. Predominantly children, much younger than any of us. People who aren't familiar with the area and are just arriving by boat. How about the players who went on strike? The firing will occur, removed from the radar. Their loved ones will go hungry. Nonetheless, it remains. You get the picture. Regarding everyone merely pausing, without further ado, of turning off the machinery, is both horrifying and stunning. A throng has gathered outside the mill, outside the norm. It's been a development. Harrison has a sheet of paper on hand, novel regulations. His voice reaches a crescendo, as per the directive from above. A reader he is. Ooh. The following policies are currently in force as a result of recent disruptions and external agitation. Just 1. Workers who engage in discussions about labor organization will face immediate termination. 2. There will be legal repercussions for any employee who takes part in a work stoppage. 3 times. In order to compensate for the losses that have occurred recently, quotas have been raised by 10%. There is a low murmur from the audience, furious yet reserved, furious yet terrified. In addition, Harrison keeps going. Certain individuals have been brought to our attention for promoting seditious beliefs. These people are absolutely not welcome here anymore. Names are read aloud to him. Mostly names from Ireland. Union organizers, unsavory characters. Someone had the audacity to suggest that kids shouldn't work 14 hours. It ends there. Do something. This is our official filing. Not as loud as normal. Everyone understands. Must work or perish. A new sign has been placed by the time clock inside. The key to a happy worker is gratitude. The sight makes Marie spit. Oh, I see. Spit on the floor ahem. She expresses her gratitude for what? The luxury of a gradual death. Warn her to be careful. They're keeping tabs. They are, in fact, more managers than normal. Traversing the rooms, taking notes. Anticipating the incorrect statement from another person. You log on. 13 times 5. Always 11 o'clock. Penny dropped. That one penny. Always. The bobbins are ready and waiting at your station. Please hold on to the cot and everything. Is set up and ready to go. I am perpetually ravenous. Never stops eating. However, this isn't like before. It's the location where the Polish girl was injured yesterday. There's a fresh face in the crowd. Perhaps 8. Without a doubt, underage, terrifies her. Her self-confidence is palpable. I can't get over how her body reacts whenever the machine goes off. Yeah, that's the deal with this spot. The pain isn't limited to the body. Shatters some part of you. That aspect that thinks everything is explicable. Children are safe in the care of adults. That labor is honorable. Morning dragged on and on. The tension is palpable. Patience is required. Perhaps the strike, or yet another mishap. Alternatively, for Roosevelt to re-enter the building? But that's all that occurs. Put in your time and effort. It's nothing but the monotonous hum of the machinery. Anthony comes up about 7 o'clock. However polite, different. Hey, he remarks. Tell me what you need. Completely non-existent. Only. My sibling? He became involved? For the military? Setting out for the Philippines? My apologies. He shrugs. At least he's out of here. And that's the truth. War might be better than this. At least in war, you might die a hero. Here you just die tired. Why are you telling me, I ask? Don't know. Figured we're all stuck here together. Might as well not make it worse. Is this Anthony? Apologizing? In his own broken way? Yeah, I say okay. He nods and goes back to his station. We're not friends. Never will be. But we're not enemies either. We're just two kids trying to survive the same machine. 8 o'clock. Marie collapses. Not almost. Actually collapses. Hits the floor hard. Everything stops. Even Kowalski hesitates. She's conscious but can't get up. The blood loss from yesterday, the exhaustion, the lack of food. It all caught up. Two women help her to her feet. She's crying. Not from pain. From shame. From the knowledge that she can't work means she might get fired. I'm okay, she keeps saying. I'm okay. But she's not. We all see it. Kowalski makes a decision that surprises everyone. Take her to the break room. 15 minutes, then back to work. Mercy. From Kowalski. Training. A new worker. Costs time. Cheaper to let Marie rest 15 minutes than replace her. But still. 15 minutes of humanity and 13 hours of hell? I catch her eye as they help her away. Try to tell her without words that it's okay, that nobody thinks less of her, that we all break eventually. 9 o'clock. The new girl at the Polish girls' station gets her hair caught. Not bad, just a small tangle, but she panics, starts pulling, making it worse. Without thinking, I abandon my station. Rush over, grab her hand before she can pull harder. Stop, I tell her. Stop. She doesn't understand English. But she understands my tone. Freezes. I work her hair free, carefully. Takes maybe 30 seconds. But those are 30 seconds I'm not at my station. Back to work, Giuseppe. That's 2 pennies. Maybe 3. But the girl still has her scalp. So worth it.
Ow.
Says something in Polish. I don't understand the words, but I understand the meaning. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me as human. The morning drags. Every hour a year. The cotton dust is thick. The heat is building. The noise is constant. This is eternity. This is hell. This is progress. 10 o'clock. Break time. Marie's back at her station, pale but standing. I slip her my bread from this morning. The piece I saved. Eat, Joey. Eat, she eats. Small bites. I'm not going to make it, she says quietly. Yes, you are. No, I mean it. I can feel it. Something's wrong inside. You're just tired. It's more than that. She's probably right. 13-year-old girls shouldn't lose that much blood and keep working. Shouldn't stand for 13 hours on no food. Shouldn't breathe cotton dust until their lungs quit. But what choice does she have? What choice do any of us have? After work, go to the charity hospital, I tell her. With what money? It's charity. I want something. They always do. She's right about that too. Nothing's free. Not even charity. The whistle blows. Back to work. But I'm thinking now. It's about Marie. About Stefan with his rotting foot. About the Polish girl with her mangled arm. About all of us slowly dying for $3 a week. Roosevelt said change was coming, but when? After Marie dies? After Stefan loses his foot? After how many more kids get fed to these machines? The anger builds. Not hot anger, cold anger. The kind that plans. The kind that waits. The kind that builds until it can't be contained. Maybe that's what the adults feel. Maybe that's why they're planning a strike. Maybe they've finally had enough. Maybe we all have. 11 o'clock. Someone. Singing Not Marie, one of the older women. Irish song, slow and sad. Others join in quietly under the machine noise. The supervisors don't stop it. Maybe they don't hear it. Maybe they don't care. But we hear it, all of us kids. And for a minute, just a minute, we're not alone. We're not just individual cogs in the machine. We're people, together, suffering together. But together, the song ends. The machines continue. But something lingers. Some feeling that maybe, just maybe we're stronger than they think. The noon whistle blows. It's 20 minutes to remember we're human. Outside, the cold feels good, clean, real. Groups gather. Whispered conversations. The word spreads tomorrow. The strike is tomorrow. You going to join? Tommy asks me. I'm 12. Nobody cares what I do. They care if you work or don't work. He's right. Every hand counts. Even 12-year-old hands. My family needs the money, I say. All our families need the money. That's why we're here. And if we strike, get fired, then what? Then maybe things change, or maybe we starve. We're already starving, Joey. Just slowly, he walks away. Leaves. Me with that thought. The afternoon shift starts. Same as always. There's electricity in the air. Everyone knows about tomorrow. Everyone's making the same calculation. Work and live poorly, or strike and maybe die. Some choice. But maybe that's the point. Maybe when all your choices are bad, you pick the one that at least fights back. The machines roar on, fed by our exhaustion, our blood, our childhood. But tomorrow might be different. Tomorrow, the machines might go hungry. Tomorrow, we might matter. 1 o'clock. Back at the machines. But nobody's really working. Everyone's going through the motions. But our minds are on tomorrow. The strike. Marie's getting worse. I can see it in how she moves. Like she's underwater. Like every motion takes enormous effort. You should go home, I tell her. And eat what? Pay rent with what? Always the same answer, always the same trap. The new Polish girl, the one whose hair I freed. She keeps looking at me, finally works up courage to approach, hands me something wrapped in cloth. It's bread with actual butter on it. I try to give it back. She pushes it toward me, points at herself, then at her hair, then at me. Thank you, she's saying. Thank you for being human. I split it with Marie. We eat it fast, before anyone sees, before anyone can take it away. The butter is like a memory of better times. Times that maybe never existed, but we imagine they did. My mother used to make butter, Marie says. Back in Ireland, before the landlords took our cow, what happened? What always happens? We left or we died, so we left. He came here. Yeah, traded one kind of dying for another. 2 o'clock. Shh. Harrison's. Making rounds? He looks nervous. He knows about tomorrow. They all know. He stops at each station longer than usual. Looking for what? Signs of rebellion? Union pamphlets? Kids who might cause trouble? He stops at mine. Giuseppe, sir. You've been here, what, 2 years? Yes, sir. Good worker. Steady. Reliable. Where's this going? The company values workers like you. Workers who understand their place, who don't cause trouble, sir. Tomorrow, we expect you here. On time. Working. Yes, sir. Because workers who don't show up tomorrow, they don't show up ever again. Understand? Yes, sir. He moves on.
Oh.
Threat clear. Work tomorrow or never work again. Not just here. Anywhere. They have lists. Blacklists. Your name goes on. You never work in New York again. But what kind of life is this anyway? What are we protecting by working? The right to slowly die in a factory, instead of quickly die in the streets? 2.30. Word spreads that Stefan's here. He made it in. I see him across the floor. He's working but barely, dragging his foot. Face gray with pain. But he's here because his family needs him here. That's the thing about strikes. It's easy to talk about when you're single, when it's just you. But when you've got 3 little brothers, when your mother's counting on your $3, how do you choose? 3 o'clock, a man walks onto the floor. A supervisor, not a worker. He's wearing a suit, carrying papers. He goes to the main office. 5 minutes later, Harrison comes out with him. They're pointing at different workers, making notes. Who's that? I asked Tommy Pinkerton, he whispers. Strike breaker. Pinkerton's private police, the ones companies hire to break unions, break strikes, break heads if necessary. The man walks through memoirized faces. He stops at certain workers. The ones who were at Donnelly's last night, probably. The organizers. This is intimidation. It's letting everyone know they're watching. They know who you are, where you live, where your kids go to school. The message is clear. Strike, and we'll destroy you. 3.30. Marie faints again. This time she doesn't get back up. She's breathing. She won't respond. Her skin is white as paper. There is blood on her skirt again. More than yesterday? Get her out of here, Harrison shouts, but nobody moves. Y'all just stand there, looking at Marie on the floor, 13 years old. Dying for $4 a week, I said. Get her out. Finally, 2 women move. They pick Marie up. She's so light. Like a bird. Like there's nothing left of her but will. And now that's gone too. They carry her toward the door. Where are you taking her? I call out, Charity Hospital, one says. I'm coming with. No, you're not. Harrison cuts in. You leave. You're fired. I look at Marie being carried out. Look at Harrison. Look at my station. $3.70. That's what my family needs. That's what keeps us from the street. I go back to my station. I'm Sopinger, I'm some sign, I'm some send by We all are. Watching a 13-year-old girl get carried away, probably to die. And we just keep working. The machines don't care about Marie. The cotton doesn't care. America doesn't care. 4 o'clock, 3 more hours. But I can't do it. Can't stand here and pretend everything's normal. Marie's dying. Stefan can barely walk. That Polish girl's arm is probably infected by now. And tomorrow we're supposed to just show up and do it again? No. The word just appears in my head. Small at first, then bigger. No, Joey. It's the new Polish girl. She's pointing at her machine. Something's wrong with it, making a grinding noise. I should tell her to notify the supervisor. That's the rule. But I remember what happened to the last kid who had a machine break. Instead, I go over. Look at it. There's a gear out of alignment. Easy. Fix, if you know how. I fix it. Takes 2 minutes. She smiles. First time I've seen her smile. She looks like an actual child when she smiles. Not a factory worker. Just a little girl who fixed a problem. That's when it hits me. We're all just children playing at being adults because the real adults failed us. Our parents too broken by their own struggles to protect us. The government too corrupt to care. The companies too greedy to stop our children raising ourselves in the worst possible classroom. 4.30 The Pinkerton man is back, this time with 2 others. They position themselves around the floor, watching, writing in notebooks, making sure everyone sees them. Tommy leans over. They're scared. Of what us? Of tomorrow? Of what happens when the machines stop? They'll just hire others? Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe there's more of us than them. Maybe we matter more than they want to admit. 5.002 hours left. The sun's going down outside. Another day almost done. It's another day of childhood spent. I think about Anna. 2 more years and she'll be here, standing where I stand, unless something changes. That's what this is really about. Not us. We're already lost. Already fed to the machines. But the ones coming after us. Anna Marco, Stefan's little brothers. The Polish girl's siblings she probably has. Maybe we can save them. Maybe that's worth the risk. 5:30. Harrison calls a meeting. Right there on the floor. Listen up. Management wants me to be clear. Anyone who doesn't show up tomorrow is terminated. Anyone who interferes with workers who do show up is arrested. Anyone who damages company property is prosecuted. What about our damages? Someone shouts from the back. Who said that? Silence, I asked. Who said that? More silence, but we're all thinking it. What about our damages? Our stolen childhoods? Our broken bodies? Our dead friends? Get back to work. We do. But something's changed. The fear is still there, but there's something else too. Anger, real anger, the kind that builds. And builds until it explodes. 6 o'clock. 1 hour word comes from outside. Marie made it to the hospital. She's alive. For now, that's all we get. Live for now. Better than dead, I guess. Stefan limps by. His foot is worse. Definitely infected now. He needs a doctor. Real medicine. But he'll be here tomorrow if there's work. Or standing on the picket line if there's a strike. Either way, that foot's going to kill him eventually. You okay? I ask. Do I look okay? You look like death. Feel worse. The poultice didn't help. It helped, just not enough. Some things are beyond herbs, you know? Yeah, I know. Some things are beyond. Everything except money. And we don't have that. 6:15. The whistle will blow soon. Another day done. And tomorrow everything changes. Or nothing does. The Pinkerton men are still watching.
Still writing.
They know who's going to strike. They probably know who's going to scab. They know everything except what it feels like to be 12 years old and exhausted, and angry and scared all at once. Joey, it's Anthony. What? Tomorrow you striking? Don't know. Me neither. We stand there. 2 kids who fought yesterday united today by indecision. Old man says striking is stupid, he says. Says we should be grateful for work, yeah, but he doesn't work here. Doesn't. See what we see? What do we see? He gestures at the floor, at the bloodstains, at the kids who look like old people, at the machines that never stop eating this. 6.30. The whistle blows. Day shift out, night shift in. But nobody rushes for the door. We all walk slowly, looking at each other. knowing that tomorrow some of us won't be back, either because we're striking or because we're scabs. Either way, friendships will end. Bonds will break. Outside, the cold air hits different tonight. It feels like change. Feels like something ending. Groups form on the street, quiet conversations, final decisions being made. Tommy approaches you in. I don't know, it's simple. Either you stand with us or against us. It's not simple. I've got family. We all do. Then you know why it's not simple? He looks at me, really looks at me. You're right, it's not simple. Sometimes the complicated choice is still the right choice. He walks away, joins a group of older workers. Irish mostly, the ones with the most to lose and the least left to lose it. I start walking home, alone for once. No Stefan, no Marie, just me and my thoughts and the weight of tomorrow. The streets are busy, night workers heading in, day workers heading home. The eternal exchange. I pass the newsboy. Roosevelt condemns child. Labor, he's shouting, demands congressional action. Congressional action. That's rich. By the time Congress acts, I'll be an old man if I live that long. At my building, I stop. Look up at our window. The lamp is lit. Mars waiting. Waiting inside. Climbing the stairs. I make my decision. Not for me. Not even for my family. For Anna, for every Anna who deserves better than 13 hours in a textile mill, I'm striking. Tomorrow. Inside our apartment, the scene is the same as always. Ma cooking. Papa exhausted. Marco and Anna doing whatever children do when they still get to be children. How is work? Ma asks. Marie's in the hospital. Ma stops stirring. What happened? She collapsed. Lost too much blood. Ma crosses herself. Whispers a prayer. There's going to be a strike. I say tomorrow. Papa looks up. First time he's really looked at me in days. You're not joining, he says, Papa. You're not joining. We need the money. We need things to change. Change doesn't feed your sister. Anna's watching us. It's taking it all in. Learning that sometimes adults disagree. Sometimes there's no good answer. If I don't strike, I say slowly, Anna will be in that mill in 2 years, maybe less. And if you do strike, she'll be in the poorhouse next week. He's right. They're both right. That's the trap. Every choice leads to suffering, just different kinds. We eat dinner in silence. The soup's thinner than usual. The bread's harder. It's food, and we're together. And tomorrow, that might not be true. After dinner, I sit with Anna and Marco. Tell them stories about Italy, about lemon trees and warm sun and grandmothers who lived past 40. Will we ever go back? Anna asks. No. Will things get better here? I want to lie. Want to tell her yes. Absolutely. America is the land of opportunity and dreams come true. I don't know, I say instead, maybe if we fight for it. Fighting is bad, Marco says sometimes, but sometimes not fighting is worse. They don't understand. They're too young. But someday, they will. Someday they'll have their own impossible choices to make. Later, lying on our cornhusk mattress, I stare at the ceiling.
Out tomorrow.
I'm going to stand outside that mill and refuse. To work tomorrow. I'm going to risk everything for the possibility of something better. Am I brave or stupid? Maybe both. Maybe they're the same thing when you're 12 and angry and tired of watching your friends die. Church bells chime midnight. In 5 hours, the whistle will blow, but I won't answer it. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow, the machines will be hungry and I won't feed them. Tomorrow, I'll stand with Tommy and Stefan and all the others who've had enough. Tomorrow, we'll find out if we matter, and if we don't, if they break us, if we all end up blacklisted and starving, then at least we tried. At least we said no. At least we were human for one day instead of machines. That's got to count for something. The darkness is soft now, gentle, not like the harsh dark of morning. This is the darkness of rest, of peace, of finally stopping. I close my eyes. Tomorrow will come soon enough. Tomorrow with its choices and consequences and possibilities. But tonight I'm just a 12-year-old boy, tired, scared, hopeful. Tonight, I sleep, and in your bed, in your time, you sleep too. Safe, warm, protected by laws written in the blood of children like me. You're welcome. Sweet dreams.